double vodka Red Bulls, rum and Coke.
My favorite drink is a Black Russian, double on some occasions, and I get it every time I go out.
Vodka Red Bull is a very good drink. The taste is really good. It's good to drink an energy drink with alcohol because it keeps you going for longer.
I did like the double vodka Red Bull, you know, because it brings you up and down at the same time, you know. So it's not good for you at all.
Well, when caffeine is mixed with alcohol, and the primary source of caffeine and alcohol currently is usually energy drinks. And I think energy drinks is actually a misnomer. They should be called stimulant drinks because they really are loaded with caffeine and other contents. And when you get this rush of sugar, it also gives you this feeling of energy, of awakeness, alertness. The alcohol tends to give you this sensation of what we call euphoria, or feeling good, feeling invincible, as well as lowers inhibitions. So you combine that with the energy, you get a kind of a dangerous combination, because those two things together are short-lived, very short-lived, but the alcohol isn't. Alcohol is slowly metabolized by the body, so you get this high from the caffeine and the sugar, you get this euphoria and disinhibition from the alcohol, and then after a short while you crash. These mixtures can be very dangerous when you're in the setting of like dancing or raves, because again the caffeine and the alcohol are counterbalancing each other. Almost every weekend there are students, unfortunately, who end up in the emergency room with adverse effects from mixing the two. What's happening is you don't realize how much alcohol you're consuming because of how you feel. The caffeine and the sugar is kind of counteracting the effects of the alcohol when mixed together. So when the caffeine and the sugar quickly wears away from your body, you're left with this alcohol component. And then all of a sudden you're severely intoxicated and out of control of your own body. And that's when you end up getting in trouble.
We just have to recognize that there are limits to what our body can take, and you know, people consume alcohol. They need to do it moderately, and they need to do it within understanding that a couple of things could happen. One, they could die from it. Two, their behavior might be such that they'll wind up in a place that they don't want to be. 0.08 is under the influence. Usually a person that's 0.15 is considered drunk. In the past, someone that's been 0.22, 0.25 has been on the verge of passing out, and we're seeing levels in the 3s and up into even the 4s. And those are very deadly levels. People normally die from that unless they receive immediate help. We started asking why, and one of the things they found were high levels of caffeine in the blood work that they were doing. So you have caffeine associated with alcohol. In addition, talking to the law enforcement officers on the street, people who tell them that they have been consuming alcohol and caffeine seem to be more combative. They're up longer, later hours. The officers are dealing with alcohol influenced actions such as assaults, passing out, those types of things, up until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, where in the past 2:30, 3 o'clock it was dead. Their peers will listen to them. They listen to the police officers and they'll say, that's just because they have to deal with it. But I think if we approach it from the viewpoint that we're trying to prevent something, and the community saying, hey, this needs to be done before we get someone killed. Right? If people start dying from this, significant numbers of them, that's a terrible way of getting the word out. You know, we want to try to get out so that that doesn't happen?
You know what? I really don't have any issues with it personally, and I never have. I don't drink them myself. I have, however, served tons and tons of them. I've never seen any kind of negative yet. Of course, I watch the news and do all that kind of stuff too, and see all the technical things that go on with it. But I personally wouldn't say no. I'm not going to stop or change anything of the effects to it. We do have a new Jägermeister machine that we pumps out ice cold, tasty Jägermeister, and it's all the time realistically. I mean, from open to close, we do sell a lot of them. Actually, the people that are drinking beer are also drinking the Jäger shots and other energy drinks as well. It's everybody, realistically, you know, women, men, older, younger, it's all everybody, and they don't have any kind of preference on it. We try to control what we're serving the guests, and we keep an eye on that. There hasn't been a lot of issues or, you know, overstimulated individuals, just because we try to control it. Because it is one of our higher priced and higher selling items, we have not, yes, the general consensus is bad for you and can have harmful effects, but there's been, it hasn't been a problem that we've noticed to have to stop selling it.
I was back in my old hometown, Binghamton, New York, visiting some family and friends. It was a Christmas party. I hadn't seen a lot of these people for a while, and it was at a bar. So we just partied hard, and I probably had like 8 double vodka Red Bulls, and ended up laying face down in the middle of State Street in downtown Binghamton in my own vomit. It was not a very good night. I blacked out.
But even if the bars stop, what's to stop a person from mixing caffeine and alcohol in their own? So it's a concern. It's a life and death issue, quite candidly. It's a public safety issue. It's one that I think we're going to have to deal with education more than anything else, because mixing those two is very, very dangerous.
I think, like anything, is be smart and be safe. Participate in these things in moderation or not at all. Do you really need something like that to enjoy yourself, or to socialize, or to be part of a group? And the answer is really no. So it really, I think, falls on the individual to decide for themselves what's important in their life.